So money will have a purpose, but it doesn't necessarily define who you are, and it doesn't make you who you are, and it doesn't define something about you. Welcome to CEO Conversations, the private practice podcast. I'm your host, Brandy Mabra. This is your one-stop shop to learn the business side of your practice on a deeper level. On this show, we empower you to own your CEO status to scale your practice for growth, sustainability, and profit. Listen in as we talk about how to market your practice to gain more visibility, hire, build, and engage your ride or die dream team, create streamlined operations, and make financial decisions as a CEO. It's time to show up as a confident leader to create a practice and life you love. Let's get started. Hello. Welcome to another episode of CEO Conversations, the private practice podcast. It's Brandy. I'm so excited because I am fresh off of being out of the retreat in New York. Yes, so I'm still on a high because one of the favorite ways that I have of serving our clients is through retreats. And I remember there was a time where I thought, like, I don't know if we can do this. Like, this feels so like, will people like it? Will people be able to act? Will this work? Absolutely. And I'm fast forward to today. Like, I cannot imagine not doing this for our clients. Like, would have been such a disservice for me not to step into this vision and to be able to be of support for them because they deserve it. They wholeheartedly deserve it. They are some of the hardest working owners that I know, and I feel so blessed to be able to be in a room with them. So if you're listening to this, just thank you so much for the remarkable experience that you gave me and the life-changing experience that you gave me and you feeding my soul to allow for me to continue to do this work. So thank you so much if you are a private practice CEO. I appreciate you. And if you are in a place, if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, I want to be a private practice CEO, I want to go to amazing retreats, then I would love to invite you to be part of the room. So we're going to talk about some retreat and reflections. But one of the things I will say is that this room of amazingness is just that. Like the friendships that were formed, the conversations that were had outside of just the conversations with what was being presented, the activities that they did, the bonds that were formed. There's just nothing next to it. And it's just, again, it's life-changing. You are not alone in this journey, regardless of what you're feeling like. If you think that your practice is like not doing what it needs to do and you're struggling with leadership and you feel tired and overwhelmed and like I cannot do this work and this is hard, then I really need for you to go ahead and apply to be part of Private Practice CEO. One of the things that we have decided to do, because we were on the fence, I'll tell you this, and I have been struggling, just full disclosure, I've been struggling with this. Who do I allow to be in the room? There is where I am not wanting to market 50 million things because I really truly believe, come from the school of thought that you focus on one thing in order to grow it and to scale it, and so I truly believe in just essentialism. And so for me to come and say like, oh, come to the retreat, oh, join private practice CEO, like, oh, do this, it just felt exhausting to me. But at the end of the day, one of the things that I do know is that for the folks who we did allow into the room who weren't necessarily part of the program, but I knew I've connected with them over the past, couple years, and they were part of the room. That room would not have been the same without them, right? And so one of the things that we have decided to do is to allow for people to apply to be part of the retreat. Now, I will say, if you want the full transformation comes when you're actually part of private practice CEO. The retreat is just the cherry on top. Like it's just the cherry on top, because when you are actually learning business at a higher level, leadership as a higher level, and truly learning what it means to be a CEO, then that's a game changer, right? So the retreat just enhances everything. And we saw that too. So with the clients who have been part of the program, gone through the process, have heard me speak, have been poured into, and just part of that environment, you can see a difference in how they talk and how they handle some of the situations that they're dealing with when it comes to their practice, right? So I want people to be in the room so they can actually hear it and they can actually experience it. So if you are wanting to be part of our LA retreat, which is happening in September, so LA retreat for those who are not clients is September 26th through 27th. If you would like to be part of that retreat, you can see the show notes. You do have to apply to be part of it, but it's going to be amazing. It's 2 days of just greatness, from high level, high vibe practice owners. So if you are an advanced practice owner, a lot of times I know the clients that we end up working with, they feel alone because they've been able to do so many great things outside of just create a job for themselves. They're creating jobs for people, and there's certain stress that comes with that. They need this type of community, right? They need to be able to be CEOs with other CEOs who get it and who understand the journey of what it means to make payroll every 2 weeks, or to have, the money mindset where there's a lot of money that's coming in the door and it's more than what I thought that I could even generate when I first started my practice, and the mindsets that come with that. Or now I need to lead from a different place and I don't know how to do that, where I'm getting challenged from so many different areas, where I'm having to open up new offices, or, there's like this big dream that I have to speak on a stage or to write a book, or, I mean, there's just so many things that our clients do that are just different. It's just different. So if this sounds like it's resonating with you and you want to be in this type of environment, then go ahead and apply to be part of that retreat. It's in happening again in LA, September 26th and the 20 through the 27th. For our private practice CEO clients, they get the 25th and through the 27th. So it's the 2.5 day retreat. But yeah, so you can go ahead and apply to be part of that. If you know that you need deeper support, go ahead and apply for private practice CEO, because you'll be able to come to the retreat anyway, being part of that program. And so if you want the full transformation, then that's how you get it. So there's information about that in the show notes too. So that is my plug before we begin. But let me talk about this retreat and the purpose of it. So we talked all about money for this retreat. It was on Wall Street by design. We were at the Wall Street Hotel. It's a gorgeous hotel. We had an amazing speaker. She's a certified financial planner, Anna Jaconte, and she just so many gems of information, from how to set yourself up for retirement, how to use setting yourself up retirement as a current tax strategy so you can actually benefit from things today that you're doing. A couple of our clients actually had started the wrong retirement account, and she was able to call them out on it. So that was really, really good. She talked about some of the things that we see on the internet that are not right and that are wrong. And just the fact of, I think a couple of the takeaways that I took away was that it's amazing how we will make sure our kids are financially set up, that they're all good, that they're going to be great. And then we will put ourselves on the back burner as business owners and not treat ourselves well, right? So, like, it has to be the opposite. And so that was like a really big one for me. The other thing was just setting up your team, making your team is like so good, and then you are not, right? And so a lot of this, in order for our businesses to do well, for the practices to do well, we have to make sure that we're putting ourselves in a position to do well first, like oxygen mask on first. So that was a really great reminder. Also, just the fact that everybody needs like a money partner. And an accountant, a lot of times I think people think that accountants are the same thing as financial planners, and they're two completely different people and they help you in different ways, but they complement each other. And so just understanding that, I know a lot of times when I talk to clients, especially if they haven't started working with me, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I have somebody." And then they only see that person once a year. They don't have regular conversations with them. That was a really big aha. Like, at different stages of business growth, you need different people to help you with the money, to make sure that you're strategizing well and you're setting yourself up for success at every stage of business growth, right? And so that's something that I've definitely learned as I've made more money. It's something that, I definitely want to make sure that I continue to leverage as I'm continuing down this journey. So there was just like some really great like reminders and just strategies and things too. So if you're in a place where you need a certified financial planner, and I'm saying certified on purpose, then make sure that you go ahead and see the show notes for Anna. That was the first thing, is just making sure that you're planning for your future, your financial future and your financial today, because your today will definitely benefit your future, and that you are not putting yourself last. The segment that I did, I titled it The Purpose of Money. So I know that from the clients that we work with, and just even from my own journey, there's different types of mindsets, money mindsets. There's like I feel like I don't have enough money, to I'm a nervous to even get more money because I'm nervous that I'm going to end up being a bad person, or I'm going to outwork my friends, or I'm not going to be able to be around, the people I love, and people are going to look at me differently. And so it's really interesting, like when we start to talk about the conversations and the emotions and the feelings and the thoughts that we can have about money, everything that can come into play. And I know even from my journey, it's been a challenge. There's a lot of money mindset things that I've had to overcome and get into a groove with. And so there was two things that I'm going to impress upon you today is, and the biggest reflection is that money loves purpose and money loves structure. Like those are the two biggest things that are so important. And so when I say money loves purpose, why are you doing what you're doing? What is the purpose of the money? What is it there to do? Right? And so sometimes the purpose of the money is to pay a bill. Sometimes the purpose of the money is to make payroll. Sometimes the purpose of the money is to give you peace of mind. Sometimes the purpose of the money is to make sure that you're set up for success. So money will have a purpose, but it doesn't necessarily define who you are, and it doesn't make you who you are, and it doesn't define something about you, right? So when I say money has a purpose, the actual physical object of money needs to have a purpose, right? And so when we get very clear on what the purpose of that money is, then that's where shame starts to go away. That's where the scarcity mindset starts to get checked and reframed. That's where you're able to come from a place of abundance and recognize, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do with this money. And then when money has structure, then you know exactly what to do with it, right? It's doing exactly what it's designed to do because it has structure and it's tracked. So there's so many things that you can do in order to make sure that your money has structure, from looking at your P&L to working with the right accountant to knowing your numbers to making sure that you have the right KPIs in place, like all of these things. And so that's not what this episode is about. If you are looking for like more money type of tangible tactics, then there are multiple conversations about that. Or if you're really struggling with how to even handle your money as a CEO, then I want to tell you to apply for private practice CEO, because that's one of the things that we do. We make sure that you're confident in making financial decisions as a CEO. So, but at the end of the day, money needs to have structure. So one of the things that I always say is that you have to be prepared for what you're asking for. And I got a really great question. Like, what does that mean? Like, how do I know if I'm prepared for it? And look at what you're doing today with your money. How do you feel about your money? What conversations are you having about your money? With the amount of money that you even have today, like, how are you treating it? Do you have thoughts about it? Have you looked at it lately? Have you had a date with it? Like, are you just ignoring it? It's very evident if you were saying, especially if you're in a place of, I want to make more money, then are you prepared for that? And if you're not already in a place doing well with what you already got, then that's where your opportunity is, right? And so are you prepared for what you're asking for? Some of it from the people who maybe feel the opposite, like, oh, I'm prepared for it, but I'm nervous about what happens when I get it. Okay, why are you nervous? Like, where is that fear coming from? And why are you nervous to get more money? So there's like so many things when we start to actually talk about these things that people can feel, especially when you're thinking about the purpose. A lot of times people don't have the clarity for what the purpose of the money is, or an account that they have. They kind of start to get a little bit fuzzy on that structure. A lot of times people don't have structure. Very many people have structure. And even if you have an accountant, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have structure when it comes to your money. That just means that somebody's pulling your expenses and looking at your revenue and giving you a number. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have structure. The structure starts to come into play when you actually look at it, you pay attention to it, you have a routine around it, you understand like what's happening with it and why that number is the way that it is. So it's the structure of the schedule, it's the structure of how it's flowing, it's the structure of the patterns, the trends, all of it starts to play into how well you can actually handle the money once it comes in the door. That's something that I've had to work on. My whole quarter two focus has been processes and procedures around the money. And it's been amazing what has happened with like me putting more structure in place. And I'm not talking about, because there was a comment that I got where I'll put like spreadsheets in place and I'll start looking at my numbers and I'll be all in. And then all of a sudden I get tired and then I get mad and I get frustrated and things aren't changing, and then I'll just stop. And so it reminds me of like working out, like where people like, oh, I need to lose weight. And so you do like all the things like you run and you're working out and maybe you join a gym and you go every day and you're waking up early now and you're doing like all this stuff. Right? And then you get tired because it's like, "Man, this is a lot. I can't do all this." And a lot of times that's how it is with money. You can't be all in 100%, 150% and still not recognize what's the behavior patterns that I need to change, right? Like what are the habits that I need to start doing to make it a lifestyle for how I'm working with my money. So this is like a lifestyle choice. For me, it's a long journey and there will always be something that's happening from a money mindset standpoint as you continue to evolve, right? So if you've never been in a place to manage seven figures, there's going to be a mindset that's there. For me, for a long time, like my roof, like my top number was six figures. So over the course of time, I've had to learn how to manage more money than that. And so with each new like pillar of growth, then there's a new mindset that comes with that that I have to now navigate and it's challenging me on different ways. And so as long as you're evolving and continuing to change your financial picture, there's going to be certain things that need to evolve about you and how you're working with it when it comes to the money, the structure that you're putting in place at this point in time, the conversations that you're having with yourself about it, your routines around it that will need to change. But it's a lifestyle choice. Just like working out, working out's healthy. Being physically active is healthy. Eating well is healthy. Like those are long-term things that just need to be part of your everyday life. Same thing with money. So if you're tackling it like, "Oh, today's going to be the day that I'm going to get my financial picture together." Okay, great. But what do you need to do in order to sustain it, recognizing that there's going to be a lot of things that you probably need to do in order to help you with that? For some folks, it's a therapist. Like there's a lot of deep rooted trauma when it comes to money that you've experienced or that you've seen that it's hard to overcome. So tackling this like it's just going to be fixed overnight is like the worst thing that you can do. Tackling it and recognizing that this is going to be a journey and that is going to push you and scare you and make you feel like I don't know if I can do this, and that there's going to be times when there's bumps in the road or maybe you started, maybe you stopped, maybe you had a really good money habit and now you didn't, you stopped doing it. Just like with a diet, sometimes maybe you eat really well and then you go out and you maybe eat too many cookies. I don't know. But it's all about moderation and it's all about like how quick can you pick yourself up? How quick can you forgive yourself? You know what I mean? So like it's not like this is not like an overnight type of thing, especially I'm speaking from a place of being a black woman where it just happens overnight. I mean, no, no, there's so many things that I saw growing up when it came to the money piece and things that I've had to rework and behaviors and patterns that have come out that I didn't even know were there. I didn't know they were there until I had that amount of money in my bank account. And then they all started to come out. And I was like, "Oh, wait, what's this?" Just paying attention to it and stopping and thinking about like why am I doing what I'm doing or why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling is so helpful. It starts there. So when we talked about the purpose of money, that's truly what it is, but it was all around those 2 points. Money loves purpose and money loves structure. So the more structure that you can have, which means knowing your numbers, knowing exactly how the money's flowing and the trends, and then the more that you can understand the purpose of it, whether if it's a bucket of money, an account, a line of credit, like what's the purpose of this? Why is this there? Having the clarity and the discernment that you need, then the easier the financial journey becomes. It just becomes more of like a tangible object compared to where it feels so like attached to your worth. I'm speaking from experience, from true experience, just feeling like I'm such a bad business owner because I made this financial decision and I suck. Or I'm such a bad business owner. I'm such a bad person because the business isn't doing what I need for it to do right now. It's not doing well. I don't feel worthy. I feel like I suck. And this is me with how many years of business experience do I have? I mean, it's like 2 decades worth of business experience, like 16 million plus dollar like budgets, multiple locations, multiple team members. I know what to do, and I've still had my, like, journey with it. So give yourself grace, give yourself grace. I mean, there's even accountants and CFOs, they have their own money stuff that they're dealing with too. They're helping people with money and they know different strategies around it. They know tax law or they know what product like even with like the financial planning, they know exactly what you need to do in order to build more wealth. But you best believe that they still have their own money mindset things that they are working on too. And I can say that even from the multiple different types of CFOs that I've worked with. And there are some, like looking back, knowing what I know now, there are some that were so coming from a place of scarcity. I just didn't know it then, right? Telling me, no, you can't hire this person. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why can't we hire it? Because they're coming from a place of scarcity compared to a place of abundance because of something that they've seen in their childhood and that they're taking it out on my P&L. Like, so you have to make sure that you're just being aware of it. Nobody is perfect, regardless of their title, regardless of what they're doing, regardless of how much money they have in their bank account. Everybody's feeling some kind of way about something. It's just some people are better than others when it comes to it, or handle it quicker, or have been able to exercise that muscle where they're not as impacted, or they know exactly what to do and what's going to work for them to reset their mindset. I know if I'm in a place of feeling like I'm in a place of scarcity for money, the first thing I do is give. That's number one. I'll give. Like, who can I give money to? I'll donate it to a cause. I'll tithe for church. Like, I'm like, I'll give it to a random person. I'll leave it as a tip. Like, who can I give money to? And for me, that's my sign of knowing this isn't the last of it. I'm going to get more of it. I'm going to be blessed. And you're not going to step in and make me feel like I don't have what I need or the resources that I need, because I know God's always going to provide. And that's what I do. And it's a mindset shift. And it works every single time. It works every single time. So it's a matter of understanding what do you need to do in these seasons, and then learning the tools so that way you can keep doing what you need to do, right? That's the biggest thing, is money likes purpose and money likes structure. There are some questions that you can ask yourself when it comes to the money. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will tell you one of them is, what's your definition of wealthy? For this is at every single stage, how we view wealthy is up to us. Their money is about perception. You could have people who, and I work with, again, multi seven figure practice owners, and sometimes the person who is really living, I'm not even sure if my business is going to survive, will feel more wealthy than that person who has all the money in the bank account. And the reason is because it's all about perception. I mean, it's all about making sure that you're in a position to understand what is really happening. What's true. My version of wealthy is being able to own my time, being able to be there for my family, being able to shut my laptop if I want to, being able to go outside and walk if I choose to, being able to wake up in the morning. That's my version of wealthy. It has nothing to do with money at all. So, regardless of what's happening in that bank account, I'm already wealthy. If I woke up this morning and I can breathe, I'm wealthy. If I can walk, if my health is good, I'm wealthy. Does that mean that I don't want to make more money? Absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. So I have a kid who's getting ready to go to college, so absolutely, yes. But I'm not gonna tie my self-worth to it. I've been there, done that, have the t-shirt. I'm not gonna do it. I've shamed myself enough. And so I'm gonna tell you the same thing. And then for the folks who might be coming from the opposite spectrum, I'm nervous I'm gonna lose everything I have. And my version of feeling wealthy if I get too much money, same thing. You are wealthy now. You are completely wealthy now. So the money that you will get, especially as a good person, you're just gonna enhance more lives. You're just gonna make sure that you are setting everyone up for success. And the people who you're nervous about, who will not accept you, they're not really your real people anyways, because if they aren't accepting you then when you get to a certain bank account, or if you decide to change your lifestyle a bit and they're not supportive of you, then they're not really your friends now. So making sure that you are paying attention to, again, how you're feeling, what your thoughts are, and definitely tapping into what's your definition of wealthy. So, those are some of the retreat reflections that I've had since then. If you are in a place where you feel that you need some deeper support when it comes to your journey, if you know that you are in need of a room, of advanced owners, I think that's one of the main things I see is that there's so many rooms where they talk more a beginner level. There's not like a room where it's like more advanced, like leadership team. I'm opening up a new location. I'm scaling. Like, this is hard. Then this is definitely the place for you when it comes to private practice CEO. So everything that you need to apply is inside of the show notes to make sure that you are set up for your business growth. So we are all about making sure that you're growing and scaling your practice for growth, sustainability, and profit. Emphasize profit. Let me say profit again. So there's that for you. But that's it. That's it. So I hope that you have a wonderful day, have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for listening today. I hope you enjoyed the episode and it empowers you as the CEO of your practice. If you enjoyed the podcast, please make sure you subscribe, share the message, and leave a review. If you want more information and support in growing and scaling your practice, click the link in the show notes to take advantage of our free resources or apply to work with me directly. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.